It's time for another Dirt Daily, and today diving into the fuel pump replacement on the 94 Land Cruiser. This is an FZJ80. I bought it out of a guy's yard. It'd been sitting for 7 years and it's kind of gross inside. I did an episode where I tried to diagnose why it wouldn't run, and I came up with fuel pump not pumping fuel. Kind of an important part. And some research told me that the fuel pump lives underneath the back seat of the Land Cruiser. So first step is get the seats out of here. What's kind of cool about this truck is the front seats fold down and forward, and then there's actually more seats in the way back. I don't know how many Land Cruisers had this, but it's kind of neat that these seats are still with the truck. I also found some cool old sunglasses, as well as a bunch of change, some sticks, and of course a giant rubber snake, which scared the poop out of me the first time I looked in here. So haha, prior owner, you got me. I'm gonna just throw this back on the floor and dive into removing. There are 2 screws on the front that disconnect. They're brackets right down here on the front of the seats, and then you have to lean the seat forward and flip it forward, and then there are some plastic covers over the hinges. These little guys. I'm gonna grab the camera and move it closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, the next brackets are right underneath these plastic covers, and mine are coming out pretty easily so far. May have spoken too soon. You need to get these seat covers, these seats out, and then pull the carpet up. We're going to want to find that. You get these seat hinges removed. Keep all the hardware because you're going to bolt all this stuff back in. And then we're going to pull up the carpet after we get the seats out. Second seat is coming out. The old carpet in the back just kind of folds up out of the way, and then the front carpet, it just loops over some studs on the floor, and then just kind of rolls up. There is some sort of insulation. There it is. That's the access panel to the fuel pump. That's what we want to get to. But I'm going to pull all this carpet out, get it out of here. A, if we spill gas, we won't have gas all over the carpet. And B, we can pressure wash the carpet while it's out, hang it up to dry. And then also get in here and vacuum everything. I have learned something. The carpet won't come out unless all of the seats come out, because the carpet that starts behind the back seat seems to run all the way up and under the driver and passenger seat, which is fine because it's kind of gross in here and it needs to all come out and get cleaned or replaced. So leaning the seats forward, popping these little plastic covers off over the back of the seat mounts, and unbolting everything. Keep all that hardware. I think also the center console is going to have to come out too. So, but then eventually everything will be out and I can get a clean start. I can probably, I haven't looked online, but I bet you could actually order a brand new carpet kit for this whole truck. Unfortunately, the truck is parked pretty close to this wall, so I need to get it running so that I can move it. more seat coming out. Oh geez. Oh boy. Oh yeah. That's plugged in. That's probably like a seat belt warning alarm. Well, that escalated quickly. All the carpet's ripped out, all the seats are ripped out, and it's a mess in here. Gotta get the shop vac and clean everything out. Look at the mold and grossness growing on the e-brake handle. But moving right along, this is the next step. We need to remove this panel and get to the fuel pump, which should be right underneath there. Bye-bye. There it is. So this should have your fuel line coming off the fuel pump, the return line, and this should be the sending unit. I don't know if this will have the sending unit for the fuel level or if it'll just have the power to the fuel pump. But got to disconnect all that stuff, take all those screws out, and then lift this out. I got all the bolts removed that hold the fuel sending unit into the tank. Set all the screws over here so you don't lose them. Disconnected the hoses. The pressure side hose is like a banjo fitting. So I set that back out of the way. I disconnected this plug. Next step is to try and lift this whole sending unit out of there. There's probably a rubber gasket around that you want to kind of protect. Don't tear that if you can help it. It's been coming apart pretty good, which is probably because this truck lived in California most of its life, and so it didn't really have a lot of rust. So cross your fingers that the sending unit pops right out. Okay, here is the fuel sending unit. This is the filter that goes before the fuel pump itself. This metal line is the return. You can see how it dumps fuel out right there. Then the fuel comes in here, goes up and goes into the engine. There's also this float that tells you your fuel sending unit, what the level is. So this is the part right here that we're going to replace, this kind of gray piece. So we're going to put a new pump on and probably put a new filter on, clean all this up around here, maybe even replace this little hose and probably replace all those little clips. All right, that's it for this Dirt Daily. We'll see you guys next time when we put this all back together.